Down low this goes, drop back to Goretzky by Aiden Anderson. Off the glass, Goretzky goes and all the way down. This goes, not for an icing though, as it's stopped up number 30 in the Riels net. As I'm Graham the G-Show Forsyth, your play-by-play commentator for tonight's matchup. We'll get the starting goaltenders for you in a moment. Physical play along the boards. It's shoveled up by Baron Baker. Up now to Jaquette. Dylan Jaquette, that is, in the neutral zone, but he'll be stripped away as the Victorias look to work this in deep and do just that. As out to play it, the Riels goaltender. As this now sent up ice onto the stick. Cole Davis, his shot turned aside by number 1 in the Victoria's net, and Mason Tebeck getting the start tonight, brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. In net tonight for this Riels squad is Michael O'Sullivan. Face-off coming to the blocker hand side of Tebeck. So it'll be McNaughton to take it for the Riels as we try to get in focus here. We go from the back angle as that's Connor Mitchell who wins the face-off draw, but picked up by this Riels squad, played into the feet of Connor Davis. Now will be picked up by the centerman and Connor Mitchell, who kicks it out wide to Nolan Anderson, who will skate it back into his own end. Now looking to turn up ice, cuts through to Riels now and continues with this puck, strips it away again, but an offside on this play. We'll get a stop-option play with 15:50 remaining in the lone Thursday night matchup here on G-Show Productions on mmjhl Game Day. Both of these teams meeting for just the third time this year. First two have gone to the Victorias. First a 6-3 win here back in October. And then in November, the Vics with a much more defensive game on the scoreboard. 1-0 win over the Riels in Southdale. As this one played in front but not going to find anyone as this is played to Nolan Anderson. Nice one-handed deke through Kalen Reyes, but Reyes sticks with him to do a nice job of shutting things down. Now loose puck picked up in the neutral zone, touched up to Connor Davis. How's McNaughton backdoor, but that just wide of the net. So it'll be picked up by the Victorias and sent out. It's onto the stick of Kalen Reyes. Oh so close there, this Riels team from scoring, and a team that is always dangerous off of the rush with the looks they have. Such a good passing squad and a team that, of course, puts up a lot of shots per game and doesn't allow many shots against per game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that trend as this game goes along to see if the Victorias can be a bit of an anomaly, as they're up 1-0. Early in this one, the goal scorer is Kobe Edwards, number 23, as he's out there now. That pass missed him. This gets played all the way down. No icing called on the play. Waved off again by the referees as this gets played up to Luke Elliott along the boards. But into his feet, so the Vics have to play it back. Goretzky fanning on that. Almost turns it over up the boards. Ends up turning it over up the boards as this is played across to Keaton. His shot deflected, but just high of the net there off of the stick of Wojtowicz. As this all the way down, it goes for an icing. As this first period rolls along, 1-0 Victorias. Their goal brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, our first period sponsor. Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. As you'll see from them and hear from them a bit later on in this one. As across to Reeve Sukit, but that offside. As for number 12 on the Riels, been very impressive this season. We'll go to pull up his statistics here in a moment for you as we get back to the face-off here right away, just outside of the Victoria zone, won by the Riels and sent in deep by this Riels squad. So they try to get possession of it along the boards as this, right into the Victoria's benches. Ducking for cover there was Davis, Koga, and Tyler Anderson. We'll get a face-off coming up once again here this time inside of the Victoria zone, as we'll give you a from behind angle of Aiden Anderson in to take the draw as he wins this for his Vicks. As that puck unable to move up any further down that back wall as it's played up by Jaquette this time around down low. It's Rubini into the slot in the Riels zone with that pass to Aiden Anderson as this top line looks to go to work for the Vicks, but possessed by Dylan Bachneck looking to get a breakout going. Good pressure by Jaquette pinching up from his D spot, but the Riels able to get possession of this and out as it's Baron Baker chasing this one all the way down. As this gets up the boards across to Nechuduk, who tries sending it up ice to Aiden Anderson, but couldn't find him. Now picked up by Reeve Sukut, who so far so good for number 12 this year. 8 goals, 13 points, 5 assists in 14 games played for number 12. As he's currently off the ice, was just on the ice, as this one sent towards the Riels blue line, but turned over in the Riels' favor. Lazarenko tries to behind the back pass that across to Cole Davis, but couldn't find number 88 there as the Victorias control. Aiden Anderson now spinorama at center ice to Lane before going cross ice to Evan Philippe, who sends that in deep. Given chase now, Dylan Jaquette almost forces a turnover there on the forecheck as that puck hops over the stick of Michael Spence, now picked up by number 17 and Carter Wilson. Wilson plays that back to Spence. Short pass up to Blake Lee, who Lee plays it into the right corner and goes hard into the boards there with Kalen Reyes. Ends up getting possession of the puck. Backhands this pass up and to the point. Is that shot deflected wide of the net off of that stick of Dylan Jaquette on the deflection. This now along the boards. D to D. The Riels go. This played into the skates of McNaughton, but gets it to a teammate there in Cole Davis, but his pass too far for number 21 as that turned over as the Victorias. Just in shot on net. Turned aside out of play by O'Sullivan. Off of that shot from Evan Philippe with 11:31 remaining. Here in this first period of action, it's the home side, the Vicks. Rookie Kobe Edwards opening the scoring here. Getting this party started on this Thursday night, as the Riels this time around making the trip across the Seine River. Instead of the Vicks having to cross over the Seine River to get to Southdale Arena. Of course, this matchup being played at the Centennial tonight in St. Vital Arena, as this played across Goretzky off the boards, but handled well by Nolan Anderson as he gets this back. That pass not as easy to handle as Connor Mitchell behind the back couldn't receive that at the blue line. Nice move by Evan Lambert to cut to the inside. Passes it up and deflected in off the stick of the captain in Connor Davis, who comes into this one top 5 in points and goals in the MMJHL. As Connor Mitchell gets bodied to the ice there and cross-checked afterwards. Surprisingly, no call from the referees as it's played up to Evan Cockerell. Nice move in. Cockerell tries going to the slot, but nice takeaway. Heady play there by Baron Baker to put a stick in the lane to take away that passing angle. As this played across. And now across again to Nolan Anderson, who drops this back to Hayden Willis, who his pass misses all the way down, but deemed tipped by Kobe Edwards, so no icing on the play. As behind the back, played across to Trott. Trott sends that in deep. This is Tebek out of his own net to stop that up enough for Jaquette to play this up to Carter Lee, who gets that out. Up to Trott, tries going middle, but cut off into the skate of Kobe Edwards, so couldn't get there. Now passed up to Luke Elliott, almost Edwards, but cut off by Trott in the neutral zone there. Trott almost gets it back now into the skate of Brzezinski. Gets it up to himself. That shot through, but Tebek steady as she goes on the save there. So we got Can Central Sports Cards and memorabilia off of the screen now. You're at the Centennial, 1-0 the Vicks lead. So they get their top line back out for the Riels. They got a pretty good line out as well, as this draw won by Dubois out there with Cole Davis as well as Sukut. Actually, Sukut as well as Van Dynes. Van Dynes over from the top of the face-off circle now as that shot turned aside by Quebec. As I was trying to say, Van Dyne's coming over from Pembina Valley. Now Sukit, his shot through, but turned aside through the traffic by Quebec. As the Victorias will change their top line out as they get the Edwards line right back out there. Draw one strong to the wards by Edwards, and now played back to Evan Philippe. Plays it into the skates of Luke Elliott, who gets it up into the direction of his teammate there. As this into the Riels zone. Puck rimmed across, now held in by the skate of Wilson. That shot through, but wide of the net. As the Riels look to chip this one out, but can't quite. Rebound almost left there for Carter Lee, but could not pick that loose puck up. Now up to the point, Evan Philippe, his shot through, but wide of the net, missing everybody there as Kobe Edwards ended up going down to the ice. He goes off for a change as well as Luke Elliott. As the Riel pinned up along the boards as they dropped it back before that happened. Skated up, now passed up to Sukit as his pass into the middle can't quite connect with Van Dyne's. Dubois along the boards, trying to get this puck loose with the skates, can't. It's onto Van Dyne's stick and sent in deep. As the Victoria going to be the first one there to pick it up. Stretch pass, can't fire to Dylan Jacquette. But he continues strong on the forecheck there, causing some disruption, but this gets across to Kalen Reyes. Nice move along the board, shifty there from 44 into the low slot. Can't get that shot on net though, was Cole Davis from the low slot. This is across Lazarenko. Tries playing this down low, but instead gets pinned up along the boards there. Eric Johnson was in there to help, but couldn't get there. This now played up into the middle for Blake Lee, sorry. I don't know where I got that from, as that was blocked anyway. Couldn't get through. Now Lazarenko chips this all the way in deep, as this sent in. Picked up by the Riels, but sent out. And all the way down into their zone. No icing on the play, of course. As this rimmed around, 7:14 remaining. The Vics looking to get on the forecheck and strip this puck. They do just that. Jorgen now trying to cut to the middle and dangle, but had that taken away back into the neutral zone. Picked up by Brady Jacquette. Surveying his options, goes to Nolan Anderson. Redirects this in past the red line, so no icing on the play. Jorgen now, nice job to win that. Race to the puck, gets it up to Baron Baker. To Nolan Anderson, sends that towards the net, but turned aside and steered into the corner. Off of the stick of the Riels netminder and O'Sullivan. Ends up into the corner, played up off the boards to Baker. Gets that back to the high half wall, but sent down low to Jorgen Nell. Now I believe to Nolan Anderson, sends that on net. Connor Mitchell gets it down low. So I'm not too sure who that is actually, but it's the Riels who are away anyways, back into the Vic zone. McNaughton sends that on net, stick to side by number 1 into back, as this loose puck now picked up by Brady Jacquette. This sent across and sent in. Jorgen now trying to hit Aiden Anderson. Anderson gets to that puck first though, after not being able to cradle it. Now skated up and played across to Brzezinski, who Riel's able to hold the line well enough. Brzezinski unable to dangle past the stick of Wilson. That shot from the point wide of the net. Quebec didn't have to make a save there. Now sent all the way into the Riel zone, but too far. As an icing on the play brings this to a stoppage with 5:45 remaining in this period. And when we finally got it right first time around, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, located on 995 Miltsteagle Drive. Be sure to check them out, as well as checking out their website. Premier Sports Cards and Memorabilia store here, located very own Winnipeg, Manitoba. That shot turned aside by the paddle of Quebec, played up by the Victorias. Now into the neutral zone, fired across by Rubini. Gets that into the corner. Shot from the corner there from Netchwaduk, turned aside. It's picked up by Brzezinski now. Number 89 looking to go for a skate, cutting past a few Vics there. Now trying to protect it. Now loses this puck. Trot tries getting back to him, but this eventually cut off. Only player not in the lineup, I think, tonight for the Vics. number 7 in Dayton Kiesman, who will make this Victoria's team even stronger once he's back. One of the most impressive D to watch last season here in the league. So now the Vics play it up. One of the most impressive players himself to watch this season. Rubini now over to Netruduke. Tries getting that, I think, to Aiden Anderson, but wasn't there. As this puck played all the way back into the Victoria zone. Now picked up by number 15 and Hayden Willis, who plays that back into the neutral zone, but turned over. Sukit, his shot turned aside by the stick. Not the goaltender, but by a defenseman in Goretzky. As the Riels forced to regroup, Evan Lambert tries to backhand Toey, but gets stripped of the puck. Picked up by Jorganell, dropped to Mitchell, but has that stripped away. Vic still maintain possession, however. Picked up back in their zone and going D to D to Willis. Off the boards, but no one there. It's cut off by Van Dynes. Through the legs behind the back pass to Sukit, who gets that in deep, but not slow enough to get to Dubois. Now it's Nolan Anderson who's skating through the middle. It's up being bumped off the puck. It's now controlled by the Riels behind their own goal line. Approaching the final moments of this period soon here as we're at 3:45 remaining into the corner. 2 players go. That's Jaquette along with Van Dynes. Now Sukit gets taken out. Victoria's rush coming the other way, but this stopped up by the good stick there of Evan Lambert, who's been really impressive as a rookie when we talk about defensemen. Well, played with so much confidence, especially for a player that is just in his rookie season. This all the way down for an icing now. O'Sullivan and the Riels look to get out of this defensive zone directly here and fast. Of course, a team that doesn't allow many shots per game this year, and it's because of little details like that, able to get it out right away. And in, looking to get on the forecheck. Davis bumps the body of Baron Baker, but the Vic's able to break this out. That hits the skate of a ref, helping the Riels just a bit as this played across. Oh, nice pass. Cross ice by Hepner, Lazarenko, and even nicer one to Johnson, but that shot unable to hit its mark as now it's the Riels who coughed this one up. Aiden Anderson has Rubini going to the net. Anderson, oh, that! A nice defensive play by Reyes to sprawl out to dive and make it, stopping that puck from going any further. It's the Riels with a glorious chance created off of the rush there. Initiated off of that key breakout pass, stretched up cross ice by Mike Hepner. And somehow Lazarenko threads it through the needle there, which is through the skates. Just Eric Johnson just can't quite put it away. Victoria stripped that puck actually from the Riels and come down with a 3-on-1. Rubini's heading towards the net and Anderson's thinking to go in there, but a key play by number 44 in Reyes to dive and stretch out onto the ice to take it away. That chance as the puck never got through. Speaking of, Reyes had the puck for a moment, now he circles back. Defend as he lost possession of it. Played to Philippe, sends this all the way in. As it's left there, number 31, O'Sullivan. Picked up by Edwards. Nice pass through to Dylan Jaquette as Jaquette can't quite go any further as Avon Cockrell, nice stick to defend him. Riels coming down now. Davis delays his shot wired high of the net. However, as this all the way back in to the neutral zone, sent back in quickly into the Vic zone. However, as they go D to D. A minute 50 remaining in this one. Oh, nice cutback move there by number 15 and Willis. Now pass behind Blakely. Can't get there. Or can't recover that pass, as I should say. Somehow Riels don't get called for an offside there. Thought it would be. That ends up not being the case. A minute 30 now left on this clock. Skated up. We bring on Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Both players go down along the boards there. Spence and Bachneck. As Goretzky lost possession of that puck. And now Spence loses possession of it. Off the pass. That shot turned aside just by that blocker of Mason Tebeck. This now onto the stick of Goretzky. but he has that stripped away as we're into the final minute now. Michael Spence looking to play that into the neutral zone, but couldn't quite get it to a teammate as the Riels coming in with speed. Keating threw a bit of a screen, turned aside by that pad of Quebec as the Vics able to get this out with 44 seconds remaining. Riels able to get right back in, but that missed pass creates a delayed offside, and the delayed offside call quickly. So it'll be face-off draw just outside of the Vic zone now. Mitchell looking to win it but can't. This one back onto the stick of Kalen Reyes as he fakes one way before looking to pass up, but that can't get past the field of sticks created by the Vic. Speaking of, Reyes gets knocked down pretty hard there by Jorgen Nell. The Victorias controlling in their own end for the time being is Reeve Sukit. And on the attack, they hold the line up to Sukit, hit behind the play. As again, I believe Kalen Reyes goes down. Sukit couldn't capitalize on his chance there in the slot. Now Keating lays a bit of a body, allows for Van Dynes to pick this up. Van Dynes coming in, down the wall, and there. Oh, Sukit can't quite put that away. Not strong enough on his stick in the low slot. As with that, a very entertaining first 20 minutes into the books as the Victorias skate off. So we got an angle of them now. They'll go first, and then the Riels will follow. But yeah, the Vics after this period, I'm sure trailing in the shots, they had some good chances. And the only one that really matters so far, they have it on the board, a 1-0 lead. The Riels, you know, this is a team against the Vics who always seem to have their chances on the rush, right? And a team that loves to pass that puck around as well. And they love to look for the draw passes. They like to attack the slot. But the Vics, seemingly more so against this opponent than any other, are able to take away that with success. So I think for the Riels, when they come in on the rush, the go-to strategy, I think, moving forward is look to take a shot. If the pass is there, take it. But emphasize crashing the net, one or two players going there. Have the man who just, you know, took the shot drop back a bit for a bit more support if it ends up being turned up the other way and you're not caught defending a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, right? But I think getting more traffic and more chaos in front of Quebec is a must, and something this Riels team needs to do more, because they've been controlling more of the puck, in my opinion. They've had less time in their own end from what I've seen. But we'll get the stats and update you coming up next here in this intermission, this first intermission that is. Score 1-0 here on MMJHL Game Day. We're going to hit you with a Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia commercial, maybe some highlights as well, but for sure our promo screen as we take a bit of a breather. Kobe Edwards, number 23, the rook for the Vics, has them on the board first, early in the first, and Vics able to shut it down well enough for now as they took a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. The next period, the second, coming up next in this MMJHL Game Day broadcast, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and Mick Canada Fasteners and Tools.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome back in, everybody, into St. Vital Centennial Arena as it's the home side, the Vicks, up in this mmjhl game day broadcast right now. 1-0 after the first period against the visiting St. Boniface Riels. The shots in that period, as we pull it up now, 14-6 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. The victorious with some quality within those 6 shots, however, as Kobe Edwards ended up opening up the scoring just a minute and 2 seconds into this game, assisted by Ezekiel Kirkness and Brady Jaquette. It's Edwards' 5th of the season. Of course, the starting goaltenders in this matchup, Mason Tebeck and Michael O'Sullivan. This second period of action coming up as we change this up as well. Yes, these sponsors for this period, goaltenders and Terrico. The goaltenders making some good saves throughout that period, and they'll be looking to keep things up, especially Mason Tebeck, who is most likely in for loads more shots tonight. Just how this St. Boniface Riels team operates, really, as we take a look at the rest of this week's action for you as both teams make their way out onto the ice. But 4 matchups in the league tomorrow, as it's the first place versus second place team going at it at Iroquois, a game which we'll have here on the network on G-Show Productions. Puck drops at 7:30. Canucks taking on the Royal Knights, looking to extend their win streak to 3 games. The Railers, of course, looking to extend their win streak to 11 coming up tomorrow. Raiders looking to break their long losing streak right now, as they've lost their last 8 in a row. And as for Sunday in this league, we'll be back here at St. Vital. Or no, actually. We're actually doing the River East Royal Knights game versus the Raiders Junior Hockey Club on Sunday night coming up. There was a change of plans since we're given a double dose of mmjhl, or G-Show game days, as I should say, coming up on Sunday, as we'll be in Niverville, Manitoba to broadcast Avros versus Selects in the Manitoba Female Hockey League at 12:15 p.m. that day. So no way we'd be able to make it back here for that 2:30 game against St. Vital. We'll have that changed on the website soon, or the website master for the mmjhl will have that fixed soon. I'm sure in the next few days we'll try to get that updated. But both teams back out onto the ice right now in this period, not only brought to you by goaltenders as well as Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Mitchell and McNaughton square off at the draw, and we are underway here for period number 2 from St. Vital Centennial Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Riels play this across. It's to Connor Davis, skating in with speed. That shot ripped and turned aside by Tebeck. Skating through, weaving through is Davis. Now plays this up to the point to Alsip, who cradles this puck, sends it on net, turned aside. Kick save made by Tebeck, as that puck not able to quite get to an outlet man for the Victorias, as this still controlled by this Riels squad. Played up to the point. That shot, Alsip, his blast, turned aside and blocked. Buckner can't get that through. Now that shot put through by, I believe, number 21 in McNaughton, but Tebeck up to the task. Now through a screen, but a block ensues. Rebound there, scores! Loose puck, picked up by, I believe, Ty McNaughton. And with that, this Riels squad evens things up on the scoreboard here early on in the second, just like how the Vicks opened up the scoring in the first period. The Riels able to tie this one up, not quite as quick, but a minute 12 into this period so far. A minute 18 actually, since 1912 left on the scoreboard when that one went in. This brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years. Folks, let me tell you something. Before this period started, I rocked my head on a wooden beam, so we'll see how we feel here moving forward. And we'll see how this Vix team responds moving forward here in the second period, as it's all Riels right now controlling this puck. Skated down and chased there by Jaquette. Goes off of him as O'Sullivan tried to get it past number 22 there. So put the scoreboard up. Now controlled by this Riels team. Passed across to Lambert, who sends this up behind the back of Van Dynes, who went behind the back pass but found no one there, as that pass was intended for Brzezinski. Turned over now. Keating plays this up. Touch pass by Dubois to Avon Cocker, who tries dangling in but can't quite get there. Actually, that's Reeve Sukit, who still has this puck. Backhands this across. That shot. Epner rebound there, but a nice stick from Philippe to get in the lane. Take away that chance from this Riels team. They're licking their chops. As into the corner, picked up Dubois. Sends this back on the cycle. Tried to get it back to him in the slot. There was number 12 in Sukit, but couldn't. Now skated down by number 9 in Rubini. Cut off by Hepner. Passed across to Kalen Reyes now, but he'll have that stripped away by Aiden Anderson, who now takes this away. Passes to Goretzky, who's now down low in the corner. Plays this across as it gets there to Sukit. Plays this behind the net to Hepner as the top line for the Vix go off for a change. Hence why there was pressure backed off there. Chipped all the way down deep. Redirected by this Riels team as they get fresh legs themselves. So Rubini actually didn't go off for a change. Neither did Anderson. Netraduke was the only one who changed on that top line for the Vix, but Rubini goes off. Now held in at the point. Played across to Goretzky for the Vix. Off of a skate now into the corner to Jaquette, who battles along the boards with Johnson. Able to outmuscle him, though. Gets it up to the point to Goretzky, who had that block. That gets sent down low now. Off the boards in front. Jaquette banging away at it. Loose puck, but the net off, as that's what the early whistle is for. As both teams now tussling a bit in the corner. That's Aiden Anderson along with Cole Davis. Is still trying to throw shots at each other. So we give you an up close and personal angle. This player is now skating away. Doesn't look like we'll get any coincidentals either. Honestly, why would we? But you never know at the same time. We've seen it before in this sport where something as minor as that afterwards that doesn't result into nothing gets called into something. As Connor Davis along the boards gets plastered there. As D goes past the stick of Dylan Bucknet. Does the Vix now trying to get a forecheck going, but can, as Connor Davis picks this up. Trying to get by with speed, but Baron Baker, a nice job to close him off along the wall. Riels still pick it up though. This puck gets to the point, behind the back feed from Bucknet. Off the backhand into the corner, as it's the Riels who are able to get possession of this puck. Played up Alsip. His shot tipped up the front of the net. It's picked up by Connor Davis. Gets it to the point to Bucknet. Gets it back to Davis. Tries getting it quickly back to number 77, but couldn't. It's that off of the stick and into the neutral zone. Two players colliding, a Vic and a Riel. This now goes down to the Riel zone, picked up by Bucknet, who's able to dish this across to Alsip with a D pass. He's now circling back behind his own net. Evan Philippe. There's Philippe waiting for things to develop now. Ends up playing a pass across to Connor Mitchell, who tries getting a pass up, gets level afterwards. He's now turned over onto the stick of Wojtowicz. Gets it across to Trott on the ice. That shot turned aside by Tebek. Battling out in front, two players, as that got tipped wide of the net. Now it'll be the Vicks who are able to get possession of it, but cut off right along the wall again by Brzezinski. His pass out in front, or rather that pass from Cockrell, unable to hit. Is sent back into the Vicks zone. Jorgenel plays it back. Now a nice move by Nolan Anderson. Tried cutting back to the left, but lost the pockets onto the stick of Kobe Edwards. Plays a pass to the front of the net where Nolan Anderson couldn't quite cradle that with the backhand. Now with speed, it's Woodowich down the right side. Delays. Cross crease pass. That one now wide of the net, as the Riels could not quite connect with that. A cross-ice pass, as I should have said, not cross-crease. Now stripped away by Carter Lee, who has that whacked off of his stick. Nice stick by a Riels player. Is this now cut back by Keating, who plays this cross-ice to Sukut. Sukut now. His shot turned aside off of that blocker of Tebek. Another save made by Tebek, this time off of the glove. Left to rebound, though. Turns aside. Another shot, though, as it goes out of play. And into the netting. As a face-off will be set up here to the blocker end side of Tebek. Is this brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. As turning back in his own end before firing a pass up that left side to Netraduk was Willis. Netraduk has this cut off along the wall and stripped away by Dubois. Plays a pass into the skates of Sukut, who really had no choice but to send that in deep just before the blue line. So be skated up by Goretzky, number 3, looking to go for a stroll. Tried to toe drag, but loses this puck. Hepner able to get it out quickly, but nowhere near far enough for an nice forecheck, though, by Lazarenko, who are behind the back pass. Got it into the slot, but no one there as his line mates coming on changing. Or rather, yeah, I believe changing, not going off for a change. As this picked up by the Victorias, now battled along the wall. This gets played up to Lazarenko again, as Lazarenko spins around and completes a pass to Cole Davis, who's muscled along the boards there. Now Jaquette lays out a man behind his own net there. That was Avon Cockerell. As this skated up by Aiden Anderson through the middle, now gains the zone through the blue line. As loose puck picked up, Brady Jaquette, his shot wired high, wide of the net. Matt Beardy with a funny comment. Commentating like an auctioneer. Yeah. Still trying to shake this off, to be honest with you folks. So stick with us. By the way, Mr. Marshy, we have fixed the ISO now, so camera does look brighter. They are matching now, which I'm super happy about, as we'll show you an example here. Pretty much as close as it can get from iPad to Canon camera, but this turned up into the Victoria zone now by the Riels, held in at the point by Bachnet as he skates to the middle, fires a shot on net, turned aside by Tebek, who has a Riel topple over top of him afterwards, hitting his back at least, as the Vicks take an exception to that in front. as they defend their goaltender afterwards, even if it was a bit incidental. Not intentional, as I should say. So try to search for the correct words here, but yeah, 11:17 remaining in this second period of action. It's the Riels who have tied it up, of course. The goal scorer for them in this period, number 27 in Cockerell. So I believed it was McNaughton at first, but it didn't end up being him. As this one, two goaltenders playing really solid so far here tonight. One of our second period sponsors. Jorgenel tries to strip that puck away from Ethan Alsip. He couldn't. Now Mitchell ends up going hard into the boards, slipping, goes to the middle into the Vic zone. Now that'll wire just far wide of the net by Sukit. It's from number 12 there. Number 17 it was, Wojtowicz. Fired that wide of the net. Wojtowicz gets it back, this time just going wide of that right post. So tried to play that down low into the skate of a Riel player. But not maintained by the Riels again as along the boards. Jorgenel couldn't quite get it out for the Victorias as it remains along there. It's now picked up by Alsa. Goes cross-size, one-timer, scores! Not Brad Lambert, but Evan Lambert wiring wide home for his home team in the Riels. The visitors in tonight's action, but making themselves feel comfortable here in St. Vital's home so far in this second on the scoreboard, scoring two unanswered, and just something that the Riels in their matchups against the Victorias so far this year have struggled to connect on. It's that cross-ice pass, and they finally found ways to open up that D-zone more so tonight. Of course, last time these two teams played, it was a 1-0 victory for the Vics, and this time a pass locates Lambert on the opposite side on that right, and number 2 with an absolute bomb pass number 1 in Mason Tebeck, and with that 2-1 Riels lead. Brought to you by Terrico, that goal. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. This picked up by Van Dyne, sends this in deep to Beck out of his net to stop it. Vic's able to get it out afterwards. As the Victorias try to move this in and keep it in, but can't quite. Whistle in their favor, though, however, as this face-off draw coming inside of the Riels end. Just got to stop and play here. 9:49 in our 2-camera angle system here tonight. It'll be Edwards to take the draw for the Vics, going up against Sukit. Reeves Sukit ends up winning that one, but puck bobbling. Both teams still trying to get possession of it. It'll be the Vics who end up getting that shot just wide of the net. He's coming in hard from his point position with Jaquette to try to cut that off, but sent all the way out of the Riel zone back into the Vics. No icing on the play as Baron Baker off the wall ends up turning this over. As this into the slot now, Van Dynes has this shot blocked. This is picked up, headband up by Elliott to Carter Lee, but Lee off of his stick ends up into the Riels crease where it's covered up by O'Sullivan. With 9:15 left on the clock. Netchwaduk, his line out there. He'll take this draw instead of Aiden Anderson this time around. Riels lose it, but able to keep it in, and it's back to Netchwaduk. Decides to shoot this, turned aside by O'Sullivan, and picked up by this Riels team. Mike Hepner now skating in down the left side. Tries to get a pass across to the point, but couldn't quite get it there. This is sent all the way back down to the Riel zone. Picked up by Kalen Reyes, who, nice move to cut back to the right. Now continues up the left side and sends a pass through the skate of Anderson up to a teammate. Riels, though, gets it back after that pass wasn't able to be handled well. As Riels plays this, threads a pass up towards the blue line, but directed off of the stick of Lazarenko as he ends up having this turned over. But back into the neutral zone, picked up by this Riels squad. Sent in with the backhand. Number 22 stick and Eric Johnson, now cut off by Cole Davis here as he enters in. Delayed penalty coming up here as Davis draws it as he went down to the ice. That shot wide of the net from McNaughton as Riels still continue to control this. Vic's just looking to touch this up so they can get onto this penalty kill and try to get it over with as soon as possible, looking for a good kill as well. That goes off the body of Tyler Rubini, but unable to get to that puck quick enough. So is McNaughton, who drops this back now to Connor Davis. Davis looking to go for a skate off the boards, trying to move up further, but cut off there by Willis. Out the Vic's blue line as we finally get the whistle we were waiting for to signal this power play coming up for this St. Boniface Riels team. Now, a bit of a crazy stat line in this game compared to all the other games we've had here recently in the mmjhl and here at St. Vital specifically. No penalties in that first period, so this, for the first time tonight, a power play for one of these teams, and that team, the St. Boniface Riels, as it's brought to you by Terrico. Avon Cockrell, stick handling. It goes cross ice. It's back to Cockrell now. Tries going cross ice again to Connor Davis, but couldn't get it there as it's sent all the way back down into the Riel zone off of a good clear from the Vics. O'Sullivan out of his own net, left it there for Hepner as Hepner looks to skate this one up. Actually drops it off to Van Dynes, who sends this in deep. Gets it to McNaughton. This now getting across. Connor Davis trying to go backdoor in front of the net. Shot there, scores! Even Cockerell, his second of the night. Extends this Riels lead into 2. Making it a 3-1 game here with 6:58 remaining. So apologies, just trying to zoom in there. Some bad focus from Cam 1. But yeah, this Riels team coming into their games a few weeks ago, one of the worst power plays by percentage in the league, as that one brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. But the Riels have really turned it up on special teams as of late. They now rank 5th on the power play at 18.8 coming into tonight. They're at 100% so far, going 1 for 1 on what was the first power play of any sort of this game. And fantastic puck movement, great work from the Riels, protecting it on the outside, utilizing that triangle up high to the best of their abilities, and it's an accurate shot, a beauty, through a bit of traffic from Avon Cockerell to give this Riels team a 3-1 advantage, as along the boards, Dubois gets bumped there by Victoria. This one gets past Blakely, he's unable to hold it in. Reeves Sukid making a nice effort to get to that loose puck, but was hauled down before. But a nice recovery from him. Ends up stripping this, gets it to McNaughton. McNaughton dangled by, got taken down as well, as Philippe loses a stick in between him. There's another penalty coming up here to the Vics. Having some trouble trying to handle this counterattack and speed from this Riels team so far. Go to a Vics penalty kill where they'll be looking to fare much better this time. Brought to you by Goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to check out their website at gordytolsongoalies.ca. And of course the Vics looking for a second or third gear here. No, they can't get it on the penalty kill, as right away Mike Hepner sends a shot through that beats Mason Tebec, as the Riels starting to run away with this one a bit. Extending the lead to 3 now. Back-to-back power play goals. 2 for 2 now on the night. But yeah, the Vics, dead last on the penalty kill coming into tonight. It's about those little details that they got to worry about first that they don't. Unable to win the draw. Their pressure insignificant to how fast this Riels team was moving that puck. And there's space in there. Just a quick shot from the point there from Mike Hepner. Good screen right away from that Riels team once again. And with that, the score 4-1. With 5:30 left for this Riels team, who have scored 4 unanswered in this one. Later in the first period, 3 unanswered in this period. As that pass from the Vics, unable to hit off the stick from Nolan Anderson to Jorgen Nell. It's played up quickly to Aiden Anderson from the Vics as they get possession of it back. It's to Nolan Anderson now. Ooh. Has a bit of time and space. Got it to a teammate. This, though, stripped away by Kalen Reyes, who a nice cut to the inside. Reyes tries sending that on net, but that's blocked. As Reyes gets it back, tries sending it to the opposite pointer to the slot. Somewhere in the middle, but got taken down. Still on the ice as Jaquette has him, or Nolan Anderson has him pinned down. Not really able to move, though, as he has his stick caught underneath him. The two finally get free. As into the neutral zone. A delayed offside here on the play as Reyes, of course, not even able to get up yet as the Riels were making it back into the big zone. That shot from Aiden Anderson goes wide of the net. Good stick from a Riel on the defense. Aiden Anderson now tries going cross ice. To Aiden, that is, sorry, meant to say Nolan who had the puck. Those played up the boards. And now sent into the feet of Kobe Edwards, who's able to send this in deep, but there to meet it was Michael O'Sullivan out of his net already. Played back in the neutral zone, sent in deep again by the Vics. Once again, O'Sullivan sticks that stick out to leave it for number 18 in Noah Keating, who goes for a bit of a skate before sending this in the direction of Lazarenko, but pass was a bit off the mark. There was a bit of a delayed offside as well on the play. As big hit along the boards there sends Carter Lee to the ice. Turned over, down low. Riels maintained possession. Alsip able to touch this quickly to, I believe, Cockerell, whose shot turned aside. Oh, it's actually Eric Johnson. Turned aside by Tebec. With that, we got another stoppage in play here. Connor Mitchell to take the draw for this victorious team. It'll be won by Reeves Sukut, who got it to Van Dynes as Van Dynes sent it down low to try to get a cycle going, but Sukut tied up along the boards there by Goretzky, a teammate trying to get it loose. They do, somehow gets to the point. Bucknet is shot off of the stick of Philippe and into the net. Some bad luck for this victorious squad as the goals continue to pile up here for this Riels team. Up 5-1 now with 3:06 remaining in what's been a high-octane second period for them that continues. This time, though, getting a lucky bounce as that ends Mason Tebec's night. Sends in Ethan Penner, we'll look to calm things down here, but yeah, talked about how this Riels team should just be looking to fire pucks on net. Well, good things happen when you do, and sometimes that even results in deflections off of your opponent's sticks, and that time the right deflection for St. Boniface off of a victorious stick, which was Philippe. You could see right away he was kicking himself. Never a good feeling when that happens. And a bit of frustration being taken out now as the Vics, a few two hands thrown down low in their zone with 2:44 remaining. Dylan Buckneck, the most recent goal scorer. Saving Cockerell, picking up another point on the night. He's out there right now still along with McNaughton. I'm not sure who else, but McNaughton out to take the draw for this Riel squad. It'll be won by number 21, picked up by Alsip, sent across Bachnatt. Again his shot, this time though turned aside by Ethan Penner as, in front of the net there's some mayhem as there's a bunch of Rough stuff breaking out. Few players taken down to the ice. One of them for sure, Riels. So not sure who ended up on top of who here. You could see Ethan Penner even getting into the action, throwing in some shots. So it will be Nechwaduk being cheered on by the Riels as he gets sent to the penalty box. Coming up here in the final 2 minutes and 38 seconds of this second period. So Ethan Alsop makes his way towards the bench for a change, gets Mike Hepner out. 2 forwards changing as well for this Riels squad. And with that, they're back on to the power play. So we show you the angle from down here. The Vicks also getting some changes. Rubini going off, as well as Blake Lee. Face off just outside of the Vic zone, and it'll be won by this Riels squad. Kicked out now to Davis, who gets stripped away. A good stick there by Carter Wilson. A trip there on the play, but no call this time. It sets up this power play for the Riels. That's been hot tonight, 2 for 2 so far. It's Mike Hepner decides to skate up the middle before kicking this out to the right side. Kicked out again, this time to Cockrell. Gets it back to Trott, whose shot ends up not hitting its target, which was the net. Controlled up top. Cockrell across to Davis. Rebound there. Backdoor it ends up. But no one there for the Riels to pick it up. Vicks try clearing, but glove down by Hepner. Legal glove down too, as no hand pass delay. Across to Cockrell. He unloads that shot. Just tipped high of the net as the Riels work it up again. Across to the point to Cockrell. Drops it back to Hepner, who he takes it to the forehand, or backhand that is, with one hand. Ended up being contested with well enough. Riels can get a shot through afterwards, as this gets sent all the way back down into their end. A Vic coming into pressure there. It was Aiden Anderson. Ends up still controlled by the Riels, though, as they look to send this out again. Flipped in opposite side to the opposite boards and picked up by the Riels. Played up to Bachnet. Sends it across to Lambert into the slot. Backhand connect with Brzezinski, but still controlled by the Riels. Is good position from them on this power play again, as that shot wired high of the net. 20 seconds remain into the final minute now of this period. 20 seconds in terms of the power play time on the clock, as this gets worked down just to a Riels player. Sukut, backhand pass behind the back up to the point to Bachnet. Gets it back. Now tic-tac-toe scores! With 1 second, and I mean literally 1 second remaining on that power play for this Riels team, with 39.1 left on the game clock here in the second. It's 3 for 3 on the power play here tonight. Finishing off with wonderful puck movement. The Vicks just not sharp enough in the defensive zone. I get you're down a man, but there's got to be a bit of urgency there, especially, I know you're down big, 5-1, but no one gets to that puck fast enough to end up clearing it. The Riels able to touch this down low, and tic-tac-toe it goes into the slot where a wide open Riels is there by Brzezinski, who beats Ethan Penner, the goaltender's first goal allowed tonight. That goal brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. No matter what, this one going to get chippy as we approach the end of this one. We're only approaching the end of the second period here with 5 seconds left. As they'll rob along the boards. Gretzky, stoned at the end of it. Flashed in the leather was O'Sullivan to keep up his 1 goals against here tonight so far, as both teams make their way out off of the ice surface now for a intermission where, well, for the Victoria is a lot to think about for them. Exactly what went wrong and what can you improve here moving forward in the next and final 20 minutes of regulation. As for this St. Boniface Riels squad, you know, having some fortune in their favor. They're drawing multiple power plays, 3 exactly, which were the first 3 of the game, which they go 3 for 3 on. Their most recent from Nathan Brzezinski. Clean shot beating Ethan Penner. Of course, the Riels have chased Mason Tebeck in this one, who ended up getting the start. I mean, what can you say, really, if you're the goaltending tonight so far from the Victorias? There's been a lot of good wide-open chances in the slot areas and high-dangered areas for this Riels team. They've found ways to pick apart this Vic's defensive zone, more so tonight, way more than their previous 2 matchups before, where they took the L both times. On their way to their first victory of the season in this season series against the Vics, and a chance for them tonight to move closer to second place and to maintain a third place standing heading into the weekend, as the last 20 minutes of play here will be coming up shortly. We won't have any highlights tonight, but tune in for tomorrow's mmjhl podcast, or game day broadcast, and we will have something for you all. In terms of intermission highlights, as for Trey Sutton's #1 fan, listen, there's a lot of great players in this league, and look, Trey's one of them, so guess what? We will make it our goal to try to get Trey Sutton on the mmjhl podcast, which we're switching it to tomorrow now, as it'll come out sometime tomorrow before our next mmjhl game day broadcast. The guests in that one, well, it's to be determined at this point. We'll have it released at some point tomorrow before it airs. But yes, we'll be looking to get Trey on, hopefully before we hit Christmas break, and for sure sometime in the new year in 2025. But as for this game tonight, so we'll be actually seeing Transcona tomorrow in Iroquois, as they'll be taking on Charleswood. And this one, in the lone Thursday night matchup, as is tradition here in St. Vital Centennial Arena. Not tradition for them right now on the scoreboard, as we've not really seen much of this here from them tonight in past games on mmjhl game day. Down big heading into the final 20 minutes against the Riels, as the Riels up 6-1 here on this December 12th broadcast in 2024 here on G-Show Productions, your home for mmjhl hockey here in the province of Manitoba. Stay tuned for period 3 here coming up. back in here in St. Vital Centennial Arena as we get set for this next period of action, where in the second period of action it was all St. Boniface Riels. 5 goals scored in that period, 2 from Avon Cockerell so far, one of them in that period. Lambert, Hepner, Bachneck, and Brzezinski all as well scoring for the Riels. Mason Tibet got pulled for the Vics in that period, as Ethan Penner is now in the pipes for the rest of the way. As we get into this weekend of action, though, 4 games are going to be played tomorrow. On the schedule, we'll have Transcona versus Charleswood on our network. We won't be here on Sunday afternoon, but we'll be at Terry Sawchuk for River East versus the Raiders on Sunday night now, as we'll be calling an MFHL game earlier on that day, so we'll be unable to make Vics versus Jets. And as for the standings heading into this weekend, the St. Boniface Riels should be in 3rd place there, as they have 15 wins on the season, looking for win number 16 on the year here to move ahead of or move close back to the Hawks in the standings. Not sure why it looks that way. You gotta love when stuff doesn't save properly through Canva of all places, as that's where I've designed all of these things that we show here on mmjhl Game Day. Actually, I think I might know why. We'll get this sorted out and show you the true standings later on, but both teams at center ice now, ready to drop the puck here. For another period of action here from St. Vital Centennial Arena, as this one dropped and won by the Riels as it's back into their own end. This period brought to you by Mickhand Fasteners and Tools, sent in on Ethan Penner, who backhands this off the backboards, and it went to Connor Mitchell. Mitchell out there with Rubini and Netchwaduk, as it's to McNaughton. McNaughton plays this up to the point. That shot turned aside by number 29 in Penner. So we get a stop and play here. 19:32 remaining here on this clock in this period. There's this draw, won by the Victorias, off of the glass and out for the Vics. Is it onto the stick of Bachneck, backhanded into the mask of Baker there. It ends up onto the stick of Brzezinski, whose shot deflected out and high up out of play. This draw will be to the blocker hand side of Bachneck, or of Penner. Bachneck out there for this Riels team, along with Sam Alsop, or Ethan Alsop. Sam Alsop playing on the team last season for the Riels. As this gets played onto the stick of Brzezinski, had it sticked away for a moment there by Aiden Anderson, but continues into the corner. Now Anderson picks it up, tries firing this out, but cannot. It's cut off by Bachneck into the slot, trying to redirect that to the net. Wojtowicz, but had it blocked. Wojtowicz turns and fires, and turned aside this time again by the Vics, this time by Penner. As that long shot gloved down by Penner, turns and fires it off the backboards to Goretzky, who plays it off the boards to Aiden Anderson, but unable to find number 13 there. Goretzky tries to give to Nolan now. Nolan ends up getting it, dangles through the middle. Nolan, he'll end up shooting it in wide of the net. That goes. Is in front. Good bounce for the Victorias, walking away at this loose puck, but can't quite do anything with it. It's Jaquette who gets this across to Evan Philippe, who sends it in deep to the corner. Philippe tries to take a shot again, but that unable to make its way past a Riels block put up there. Speaking of Philippe, unfortunate bounce for him as a Riels goal went off of his stick and into the back of the Vic's net for the 5th goal of the Riels night. This is sent all the way down to the Vic's end. So along the blue line, along the boards there, both teams battle to get this puck loose, and the Riels do just that in their own end. Goes all the way back down into the Riel zone now, where O'Sullivan will be there to leave it. As this gets sent into the feet of a victorious defenseman in Baker, Lazarenko carrying it offside. So that'll get a whistle in play here. With 17 minutes exactly remaining on the clock. 6-1 the score in favor of the Riels. As we take a look at the actual standings here for just a moment, the Riels 15-7, Vic's in 5th place with a 13-7-3 record heading into tonight. So yeah, what the Vic's were looking to do was move past the Riels in the standings tonight, but with 16:40 remaining, that's looking like only a dream at this point for this Victoria's squad for the time being, as this backhanded into the corner, where it'll be Carter Wilson, who tries playing that D to Baker, but too far there for number 4. Now picked up by the Riels. Dangling in front, Davis, rebound there, somehow stays out! So I thought that hit the back of the net for sure. It's Connor Davis putting that initial shot on. Rebound picked up by Brzezinski, who couldn't quite put it home. It's Riels go off for a change now. Davis along with Cockerell. As this skated in his own zone by Dylan Bachnuck for the Riels. As this off of the high boards and all the way out, chased down by Evan Philippe, as Philippe plays this opposite side in his own and goes all the way out towards the Riels blue line. Now picked off by Evan Philippe, who muscles his way in. Philippe tries to kick that to the outside by Kank. Good stick work by this Riels team, and now they turn it up the other way. Coming in, it's Wojtowicz trying to find Brzezinski in that middle seam, but couldn't. Ended up hitting the skate of a Victoria to block that as this stretch pass. Oh, just beat out there by Tyler Rubini, as didn't think he'd make it there in time as the ref waved it off at the last moment. Loose puck picked up by Brzezinski now. Tries to dangle through Netraduk. Had an open teammate down low, but elected to take it himself. Maybe would have been smarter to send it down to number 17. As this drop back to Jaquette, stretches it cross ice up to Netraduk as he dropped it to Rubini. Tried going back door to Anderson, but that one not able to connect with number 13. That shot unable to get through, blocked by Bachnutt as it gets stretched cross ice up to number 12 in Sukid, who ends up hitting Jaquette in the head with a few punches afterwards, as I thought Jaquette was going to respond for a moment there, but ended up not doing anything. The smart play there from number 22. As Reeve Sukit, definitely a bit of frustration there with Jaquette, cutting him off in the neutral zone, and forgets about the puck, which he's much more effective with it and skilled with than what he just did there. Taking a bit of a bad penalty here for the Riels. One you don't really want to see your team take here when you got a lead, but the lead big enough for now, as they're looking to just worry about killing this penalty off. Is almost laying a big hit on a Victoria there was Hepner, but instead he ended up being the one going down to the ice. So now the Victorias, their first power play of this game, going up against what is the number 1 penalty kill in the league from the St. Boniface Riels. Upwards of 85% on the PK this season. Meanwhile, for the Vics, on the power play this year. Coming into this one tonight, ranking 7th at 16.5. As this, for the Riels, a shorthanded chance turned aside by Penner there. Off the shot from Connor Davis. Connor Davis able to get it back quickly and sent it all the way back to his zone. Connecting with Ethan Alsip as this flipped all the way in by number 77 and Dylan Bachnek, as the Riels have killed off over a minute of this penalty so far for them. Brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools. Into the skates of Netraduk before Rubini sent it in deep. Cleared out again strongly here by this Riels squad as Penner out to stop it and play it again. This ends up actually hitting the net and out of play. The refs don't seem to notice it though, as they let this keep going. Netraduk looks to go for a skate through the neutral zone. Passes it off of the boards and sends it down low. As Netraduk tied up along the boards. This taken away by the Riels. This flipped on though on the attempt to break it out. Finally sent back into the Vic zone though, as Edwards had his attempt to bring it in deeper. Blocked up there. Here's Rubini on even strength now, looking to bring it in deep to the zone, which he does. Pinned up there, picked up by a teammate though. As this to the point, Blakely, his shot through the screen, but turned aside by number 31 and O'Sullivan. As Blakely steps up into the zone now, out there with Carterley, as Carterley tries to lay a physical hit there on McNaughton. McNaughton stood his ground, however. Zarenko tried to one-touch that past Jaquette, but Jaquette stood him up well with a good stick to cut it off. Zone blue line. So now Vicks try working this to the middle, but they can't. Puck sent all the way back down into their own end as there's an icing on the play. Jaquette, Brady Jaquette that is, who just flips this all the way back down to where the face-off is going to be. Back into the Riels end. It's the straw. Won by the Victoria. Shot can't get through though, as this picked up by Lazarenko and sent all the way into the Vic zone off the boards. Off the skate of Goretzky! But Penner able to make that save and keep it out. So the Vicks go up off the boards, past Dylan Jaquette though. So the Vicks unable to control this any further than that breakout attempt. This is controlled by the Riels. Went D to D before sending it up into the neutral zone. Player cut off though by Goretzky was number 88. And Cole Davis now skating with it, Avon Cockrell, number 27, always with the moves. This time cut off along the boards by Dylan Jaquette, forces a turnover in possession for this Victoria's team. Philippe continues with it now, as off of the glass, sends this back into the Riels zone, is now picked up by Michael Spence. Spence heading towards the net, to the forehand, turned aside off of that shot. Nice save made by O'Sullivan to keep with that. So we get a face-off inside of the Riels end, won by this Vicks team again. So along the boards to the point, Jaquette, his shot unable to get on target. Taken away by the Riels. Down low now, and now sent up, threaded to the middle, and now kicked out wide to Brzezinski. Has two men with him, goes to the slot. That pass to Wojtowicz, kind of rode up on him. He wasn't able to cradle it cleanly as the Vicks turn up possession, heading the other way. Kicking it out wide to number 12. And Luke Elliott can't find a man there. So it's not Carter Lee once again, sorry. Ezekiel Kirkness playing for this Victoria's team here tonight, as Kirkness sends this in deep. Been so used to calling the Lees throughout the past season and a bit, as now this. Oh, a nice pass by Suka. Gets it back from Van Dynes, but unable to put it away as that pass bounced over his stick. Unable to cradle it cleanly was number 12. As this allows for the Victorias to get some fresh legs onto the ice, of course. For the Victorias, their next action coming up on Sunday against the Stonewall Jets here back in St. Vital. As the Riels won't be back in action until Sunday too, where they'll be taking on the Charleswood Hawks at home at Southdale Arena. Should be a dandy at Southdale Community Center on that Sunday afternoon. As this held in at the point by Baron Baker, couldn't get a shot through though, as this attempted to be cleared out, and finally is by this Riels squad, as Sukit gets that pass. His shot wide of the net is just wired wide right. It's Rubini trying to make his way through the neutral zone, unable to. A loose, broken stick on the ice kind of disrupted things there. Riels unable to do anything really coming down the other side, though. Allowed for the Vics to break it out. It's back to Goretzky, who turns before firing cross ice to Nolan Anderson, who couldn't really do much with that pass, but tried to touch it up, but it got deflected into the out-of-play net in the mesh over top of the glass here. And with that, another face-off. And this one won by the Victorias again. Been very good in that area throughout this third. But defensive zone has been a bit more of an issue as they struggled a bit to break out initially. As Riels try to thread this pass cross ice through the neutral zone. Good defense there by the Vics. A better stick maybe though by Cockrell, unable to catch up to that loose puck as it was taken away by Carter Wilson right away. Now it's number 4 and Baron Baker, who was looking for options. Decided the best one was to rim it around and ended up getting it all the way out, where it allows for Rubini as well as Connor Mitchell to get in on the forecheck here. Mitchell tries getting this to the front of the net, but couldn't. Intended for Nechwaduk. So now this gets sent beyond the goal line in the Riels and played up high into their zone now and onto the stick of McNaughton, who sends that in on Penner. As Penner played it up to a teammate. Now this gets played up to Tyler Rubini, who's been contained pretty well here tonight by this Riels team, playing a good gap on him and taking away his space here tonight. And that's the key, I think, here for teams in the mmjhl. I mean, like, you could look at the stat sheet and look to figure this out, but I mean, the Vics, their lines outside of their top lines still produce chances, but the bulk of their offense comes from their top guns there, right? With Rubini tied for top in points in the league heading into this week. Nechwaduk top 3. They got some gamers on the back end, and they're missing one in Dayton Kiesman here tonight, which for the Vics, I mean, they'd love to get him back. But someone throughout, you know, the third line, even the second line for the Vics, no matter how many chances they may put up in the game, has to start stepping up, and finding another gear or two within these games, especially when you need something to spark you. Now, the Vics, yes, they got into penalty trouble tonight in that second period and gave up 3 on the power play altogether, but yeah, overall, when this top line on their team has been shut down or been contained, everything kind of falls into place for the other team to have a successful night, and that's what this Riels team is kind of done here so far. You know, done that and gotten great success. A big second period where their speed and their strength on a power play that's getting better and better this season was on display. But it's Jorgen now who, stood up there by Ethan Alsip, but not blown up totally upon entry. Ends up having a Vic shot block there. It was Kirkness who ended up being in the way there as he lost his edge and was on ice. Skated up by Carter Wilson. Wilson tries firing cross ice but couldn't. Clogged up again through there by this Riels. defensive structure in the neutral zone. As Riel got ridden out along the boards, that was trot courtesy of Kobe Edwards. As Edwards points to Carter Wilson to keep going with it, chips him to himself and gets to it down low, where he'll be met by a Riel and I believe Alsip, as this puck still along the boards before getting to the net, where O'Sullivan would stick out that glove to save things for this Riel squad. Getting a stoppage in play with 5:23 remaining. 6-1 the score in favor of St. Boniface. No goals in this third period at this point. We'll have to see if that changes here in the last 5 minutes, as Brady Jacquette being hounded on the forecheck there by Van Dyne survives by spinning upwards in his own zone and got it up. But this behind the net again for the Victorias as they control going D to D. Opposite side now to Philippe, who flashed his hand looking to draw some sort of penalty, it seems like there, but wouldn't end up doing so. It's back onto the stick of Philippe, who cuts to the middle and now passes it, kicks it to the left side to Nolan Anderson, who makes his way in. Anderson flubs on that pass, fans on it, unable to get it through as this turned up the other ice, and a one-on-one created. McNaughton in on Baker, cutting to the net, rebound there, Payer sticking out that right pad to keep it out, and a big save made there from number 29 late here in the third frame of action from St. Vital Centennial Arena. Shots were apparently 19-8 for the Victorias in the second period. I feel like they might have reversed that. They've done this before on the site, but that was the total for one of these teams. 19-8 shot advantage in that second period. The Riels haven't had as much quantity on net during this period, but a lot of dump-ins each way. As the net off right now, Riels get possession. We'll see if the refs end up fixing this, as one of them does. Controlled still by the Riels. It's Cockrell going to work. Sends a pass cross ice up to the point. Reyes places it across. Hepner, his shot just wide of the net. A heavy screen in front for this Riels team. McNaughton will shoot from a tough angle there. Turned aside well by Penner and chipped out by this Vicks team direct on the zone exit as Ruben takes it to the opposite side before sending a shot off the side of the net. Mitchell draws a penalty down low for this Victoria's team, as their team taking exception to it here. So give you a bit of a closer look. Still working out the kinks on our camera. I've been debating making the angle a bit higher so we can get a bit more zoom for instances like this, but we'll hold off for tonight. Still more zoom than we were getting before, though, in tonight's action with our iPad camera. So that's actually the second camera angle now. Baron Baker ends up being awarded Player of the Game for the Victorias tonight, presented by BP. And the other number 4, Mike Hepner for the St. Boniface Riels, wins St. Vital Arena's, or I guess the Victorias, their Players of the Game. They're always presented as a bit of confusion right now from, I guess, where this face-off draw is going to be taken. It will be taken just outside of the Riel zone. So it will be the Vicks on the power play here. We're going to salvage something against a penalty kill. That, of course, 100% tonight for the Riels. An 86.8%, best in the mmjhl this season. And it's because of sticks like that and the aggression like that they've been so successful, not allowing this Vicks team to clear out of their zone just yet. So that draw pass was disrupted by Eric Johnson. Johnson gets to that puck first, kept it down low as he tries to cut off Goretzky down that left side, but this time Goretzky strongly skating it up, passes to Rubini, backdoor, tries getting that into the slot area for Kirkness, but couldn't get it there. Controlled by the Vicks up high as they'll try to take advantage of the space they have right now. Rubini looks for options, ends up going to Edwards. Edwards fires to Netraduk, but a fan there, uncharacteristic from number 11, and Netraduk. Does that allows for the Riels to pick this one up and send it all the way back down into the Vic zone. Controlled by Rubini, drop back to Wilson, played it to Nolan Anderson. How's Rubini streaking up down that right side? Anderson holds it in the slot. That shot turned aside a bit awkwardly with that glove hand arm of O'Sullivan, but nonetheless made the save. Kirkness possesses this down low, takes a hit, but able to get that loose puck to Nolan Anderson, who spins away, spinorama down low to get away from the check-in as he drops this back to Carter Wilson, who makes his way in backhand towards the net, whacking away at that as Kirkness after the whistle goes shortly after, as both teams going at it once again as the physicality after whistles continuing to ramp up here. As we got another fight. It's the rookie and Kirkness in on, I'm not sure who that is for the Riels, and now Nolan Anderson in front, having to be taken away from the foul that was ensuing, and now it's Kirkness who is being held back by a referee and kind of tussling around with that ref. Boy, a lot of passion there from the young gun and Kirkness, who of course on the board tonight for the Vics with an assist, now going to have some penalty minutes and potentially more here. See, sent out of this game and getting a cheer all the same as we bring up the angle. Or the angles, I should say, not the ankle, if that's what that sounded like. Kirkness, this head hung in shame a bit as he makes his way off. Evan Lambert was the one who went with him. Can't say enough good things about him so far this season. But it was a power play for the Vics. There's 26 seconds remaining. Actually, someone beside me pointed out the referee, one of the linesmen, following the players who just went off down to their dressing rooms, which I think that's only smart. So I'd say the only smart thing you could do in that situation with players coming off is getting a linesman or a ref to go down to make sure nothing goes wrong, right? Because, look, tensions just flew high between those two players. They just threw punches at each other. So what's to say they don't start back up again, heading to the dressing room, right? But the score here, 6-1 in favor of the Riels. This is a good time as well to show you all, once again, the upcoming games for not only tomorrow, but for Sunday in this league as well. There's 4 matchups on deck for tomorrow. Riels and Vics, they'll both be getting the nights off before they're back in action on Sunday. Riels at home to face off against the Hawks. Vics at home to face off against Stonewall. Of course, we won't have that game anymore. We will have the coverage for River East and RJHC, however, as they'll be looking to snap an 8-game losing streak heading into this weekend in terms of the Raiders. As for our matchup tomorrow night on mmjhl game day, number 1 versus number 2 in the league going at it, Railers versus Hawks. We finally got our standings updated here as you can see how things match up right now. The Riels only 3 points behind the Hawks heading into this weekend of play, and will be a point back of them heading into a matchup tomorrow night for the Hawks, where they'll be looking to do something they haven't done all season long, and that's beat the Railer Express. So the Railer Express have the advantage in the head-to-head between those two opponents. Nice job by Reyes to get physical along the boards and pinching up into the play as we're back to even strength with 1:20 remaining. Watch out here on both sides as we're going to see some physicality. Got to think some big hits attempted to be laid here as this all the way down. No icing called somehow. I'm not sure quite why that wasn't called. It's an icing, but nonetheless the Victorias controlling in their own end. It's a pass fired up to an outlet man, but a nice stick from Cole Davis to disrupt for the time being. Vics get it right back as Skoretsky trying to work his way through, splitting through the D there, but couldn't. Into the final minute of play of this period now as Brzezinski gets bumped afterwards. And now here's some more punches being thrown as Aiden Anderson comes down and an RKO from Mr. Anderson on Brzezinski. See if we can get a better angle here. Both players remaining on the ice right now as Aiden Anderson getting up. Skoretsky and Brzezinski, who were seemingly looked like they were about to throw punches at each other, as we just missed that angle there of Aiden Anderson coming off the ice, but it never fails here on mmjhl game day. Been like the last 4 or 5 where we've seen stuff like this, especially at St. Vital Centennial Arena. Something about this place. Brings out the fiery competitor clearly from both of these sides here in this sport, to the peak of that physicality, which are some fights. As this chipped all the way out. But for the Riels heading into this weekend, as we take a look at the mmjhl.ca's standings, they've won 3 in a row heading into tonight with 16 seconds remaining. They're about that time from coming away with that 4th win in a row as more fights break out here. One in particular, Trott and Spence both throwing. We'll see if one of their helmets get ripped off as well, as it's Trotz whose helmet gets ripped off. Spence continuing to fire away at number 8 there, as both being separated by linesmen now, and that a proper fight to end things here with 12 seconds exactly remaining on the clock. As Evan Philippe and Keating having some words with each other, just thinking they're sorting out their equipment actually on who's grabbing what. Some gloves and some cages on the ice, helmets that is. But yeah, the Vics going down in defeat for a 2nd game in a row here. This time on this Thursday night. Not going down without a fight, however, as literally getting one last scrap to end off this game. As the whistles sound, I wonder if they're even going to play the last 12 minutes or they'll just let it run off. The 6-1 Riels lead here in a game that pretty much over at this point, except for the zeros having to come on the scoreboard, which, yes, they will run the time, and with that, the St. Boniface Riels team in a win powered by their power play, powered by a big-time 2nd period where they scored 5 in a row. Win this one to get their 1st of the season against the St. Vital Junior Victorias. As last time these two teams played, the Vics winning 1-0. Well, this time around, not exactly the case, as much higher scoring bout here tonight. O'Sullivan picks up his 9th win of the season to move to 9-4. Cockerell with 2 goals on the night. The rest individual goal scorers for the Riels, in terms of Cockerell being the only player on his team who scored multiple goals tonight. Shots, they showed to be in favor of the Vics on the MM's website after the 2nd, but I don't believe that for a second, because throughout the first 2 periods, especially in that 2nd, it was all Riels with the offensive zone time. Sure, the Vics had some chances, but overall, this Riels squad, shutting things down at a pretty high level. In this 3rd period of action, there were a lot of dump downs into each other's zones. We saw things really ramp up physically. And both teams, I think we can safely say that these are 2 teams as well that don't like each other very much. Not as egregious as what was going on in the Vics Twins game a while back now, about 2 weeks ago here on the network. But yeah, some big punches being thrown here tonight, especially in that 3rd period. We saw some players leave this game due to that, but throughout all the noise, throughout all the chaos in this one, it's the Riels who come away with another solid minutes of 60 minutes. another solid effort throughout those full 60 minutes in this one tonight. A team that continues to get better and better as this season goes along. Now, there's a benefit to when you win big against an opponent over the weekend and score 15 goals in total over you 2 games last week, as they beat Stonewall with 5 goals on the board. They beat Pembina Valley 10-1. So that definitely helps. But we've seen them add on to their roster as the season goes along. They've made some big moves. And this roster getting used to playing with each other more and more. We're starting to see things pay off. We're starting to see them get more scoring on the board. They are now up to second in goals per game on average in this league. And that power play, which was once near the bottom of the league, is now up to 5th and was a big driving force in terms of why this team was able to put it away tonight, going 3 for 3 on the power play. I think another thing to point out tonight, which is huge, is Paul Castus, who was a former assistant coach for many years on the Victoria's bench, took a year off from coaching in this league last year, and ended up making his way back this year once the Riels had a head coaching vacancy, taking a head coaching position for the first time in this league, and hadn't been able to beat his former club yet up until tonight in a matchup where his club has to be really happy with their performance. We'll take a look at the standings to see how they're affected after this one before we get into our players of the game and sign off here on our post-game show. But yeah, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. The St. Boniface Riels, 15-7 heading into tonight. Now move up to 16-7, 32 points on the season, 23 games played now. The Vics, they remain tied for 4th place with the Fort Garry Twins, but that could very well change coming up tomorrow night, so the Twins will be in action. The Vics fall to 13-8 and 3, and will be back in action against the Stonewall Jets, who enter into this weekend 500. And yeah, that's a look at the standings here. Excited for Transcona Charleswood tomorrow. 2 of the best in the league going at it. Transcona coming in tomorrow with a 10-game win streak. Are you kidding me? Charleswood with a 3-game winning streak. For St. Boniface, they up their win streak to 4 tonight. And with that, we'll get into their player of the game. We'll actually start off with the losing side for the Victorias, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. For this team here tonight, in terms of, who gets player of the game, who to give it to here tonight. You know what? I think that Evan Philippe, even though he puts in a lone goal tonight, you love to see him continue to play with high spirits as this one came to a close. And, continue to stand up for his teammates, continue to lay the body, be physical, even made some good plays with the stick defensively, and, throughout the night, created some good chances offensively when the Vics did have them. It's just, they didn't get nearly enough in this one. But Philippe nonetheless stood out to me in this one with his physical play, and his stick was so good in the defensive zone that ends up scoring a lone one, that one going off of his stick. But overall, you gotta love to see a player that doesn't wear a letter either continue to fight for his team and stand up for his teammates to the very end. Evan Philippe getting the player of the game. For that reason, continuing to stay resilient for this Victoria squad. Brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to check out their website at midcanadafasteners.shop, as well as their website, or as well as their store locations in Winnipeg and in Brandon. As for the Riels, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia player of the game, for me, it goes to Avon Cockrell tonight. Every time this kid is on our network, I'm sure this isn't every single game, he has one of the filthiest set of hands in the league. So, elusive and efficient with his movement, and we saw that on display tonight, being effective once again. making the Vicks defenders turn one way and then going the other. And yeah, did a good job of going to the right places. Scored a night in tight on that first goal of the game, showcasing that accurate shot of his on the power play. And yeah, just his skill set, which is filthy, paired with his, ability to find the open places on the ice, showcasing his good IQ, resulted in another strong performance from number 27 tonight. As Avon Cockrell gets play of the game for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, brought to you by, or for the St. Boniface Riels, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Visit their store location, 995 Miltsteagle Drive here in Winnipeg, as well as checking out their website at cancentralsportscards.com, their Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store here in this great city of Winnipeg. As for us, we'll be back on air tomorrow, everybody, for Hawks at home to take on the Railer Express as the Railers put their 10-game winning streak on the line against the Hawks' 3-game winning streak. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. This is going to do it for the mmjhl Game Day broadcast on this Thursday night on December 12th. I've been your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Hope to have you all tune in tomorrow on MMJHL Game Day. Don't forget as well, the MMJHL podcast, newest episode comes out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Details coming tomorrow here on our network on gshow.ca. gshow.ca as well as on our social media platforms. Special thanks to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and to Make-Ken Fasteners and Tools for sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day. And no, Fox, Loonsman, no one did get a hat trick tonight, but Avon Cockrell ended up being close. He had 2 on the night in a big 6-1 win for the St. Boniface Riels. They move closer and closer to the Charleswood Hawks in second place. 1 point back of them right now as they remain in third. Vicks looking to get back in the win column on Sunday afternoon, back here in St. Vital against the Jets. Until then, they have to sit and dwell on this loss. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again to MMJHL Game Day here on your home for MMJHL hockey in the province of Manitoba on G Show Productions.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry upper deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.